Welcome to Chalk Talk. This is Mike Simpson, Superintendent of Guthrie Public Schools, and today we have two of our outstanding seniors from the class of 2023. We have Peyton Hayes and we have Zach Henry, and joining us, of course, is Chris LeGrande, our high school principal, as well. And we've kind of gone back and forth with this podcast because last month we had some people that talked about high school athletics and high school extracurriculars that were not even related to Guthrie Public Schools. And the month before we had some seniors as well. We're going to kind of go back and forth on some of that because I've really enjoyed watching, talking with our seniors and getting to know them a little bit. And, Peyton and Zach, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, so you guys are both seniors. You've been, both of you, how long have you both of you been in Guthrie Public Schools?
Since pre-K.
Okay.
I was in St. Mary's up until 4th grade.
Okay.
I'm here in 5th grade.
Okay, great. So you guys have been through a lot of the district and seen things change. And the thing that I've struggled with the most is we're now approaching, I've been here long enough now that you guys would have been in, first grade, I guess. Yeah. Is that right? You guys would have been in first grade when I came to Guthrie. So that's just, it's hard for me to wrap myself around that because it seems like just yesterday in some ways. And you guys are getting ready to move on to a next chapter in your lives. So let's talk a little bit about that. Talk about what's next in your life after high school. Peyton?
Well, I'm still, feeling things out, but the plan right now is to definitely go into sports psychology. So I'll major in psychology wherever I go to high school. But I'm Sooner born and bred, so I'll hopefully go to
yeah,
the fall.
I kind of knew that. We got a couple of Cowboys on this side.
I know. I know.
That's right. Be careful there.
And we're not shy about it either, just like you're not, but that's all right. So, Zach, what's your plans?
Well, I like to rebound on how you were talking about how it goes by fast. And, when you're a kid and your parents talk to you about going by fast, you don't really, whatever. And then when you get into high school like that is just so true because it feels like yesterday, like I was playing football my sophomore year on my first game, but when I'm thinking about going to do in college, I want to try to play sports, obviously. But if that doesn't work out, I'd like to go study to be a radiologist.
Okay.
And be a radiologist, yeah.
Great. That's there will always be a need for radiologists, I can assure you, because those of us that have had x-rays, we can assure you that we're going to come back.
Yeah.
So you guys have kind of got an idea of what you want to do after college. Let's talk a little bit about this year. So tell me what it's like to be a senior at Guthrie High School right now.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy to think that we're seniors. I could go 4 more years, but it's fun. It's all the good things that have been the last 3 years, but also a little more freedom. A little less workload, so we have more time to do the fun things and our extracurriculars. So it's like the best of high school with just even more fun on top of it, and then a little less schoolwork, which is nice.
Well, and what I was going to add too is a lot of the time, by the time these kids are seniors, they've accumulated enough credits so that they can have more options. And several of our students, and there are no exceptions to this, but they take concurrent classes. So basically, they already get a jump start on their college careers by enrolling in these courses, because they do have enough credits and they've met the requirements that we've set forth at Guthrie. So that's to kind of just clarify what she means by having a little bit more time there, and it gives them more choice and more responsibility and a little bit of freedom as they transition to that post-secondary career.
Well, Zach, what about you? What's it been like? I
definitely agree with the freedom because it's a lot on you. If you want to get your work done, you got to study, obviously. I mean, it's school. I like all my teachers. I mean, I don't think I've not liked one teacher. Obviously, football and sports is my main thing, so I just really I can't say enough about our coaches and stuff like that, about how they really work hard with our players, and not only in the football field, but people kind of don't really know what they do with our players and making sure their grades are up and making sure they're going to class. Because every single day after we work out in the morning, coaches they talk about our grades, getting to class, and things like that. So even our coaches are involved a lot with our schoolwork and stuff like that. So I really love it.
Okay, you touched a little bit on extracurriculars. I know you play football. Tell us a little bit about your extracurriculars, and then we'll get back to Peyton on that.
I play football and I play baseball. We just got done with our football season. We went 9-3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Second round loss, which is okay. We had a good year. I've been playing football since first grade, and I've been playing baseball since second grade.
Okay.
So I've been playing for a while. I love it. That's why I want to play at the next level somewhere, just somewhere, But just because I love the sport so much, and I mean, I don't know if you count drama as an extracurricular.
I was going to say, if you don't bring that up, I'm going to make you talk about it.
I mean, it's like it's just fun. I mean, we goof around, but we also just, try to be serious. We just have fun. That's kind of why I like it.
So let's spill the beans. You're playing the leading role in the upcoming play. Is that correct?
Yeah, one of the leading roles is probably like top 30 leading roles. Ray Bud in a Dearly Departed play.
Okay.
So it's on January 26th and 27th. I'm not exactly sure what time, but it's at Fogarty.
Okay, at the new, the renovated auditorium in Fogarty. We're glad we can use that for a lot of different things. It'll be a little bit better than being on the stage in the high school cafeteria or something like that. So that's great. Okay, Peyton, let's talk about what all you do outside of the intense coursework that we've got you working on.
Right. I'm the senior class public relations for student council. I'm a member of NHS. I attended Girl State this summer. And then my favorite thing is I was a football trainer for the past 5 seasons. And that kind of ties into, wanting to do sports psychology. I learned I don't want to deal with the blood as much. But my favorite part was building connections with the athletes. So I hope to make a difference.
That's great. That's awesome. Okay. So tell us your best memory from being a student. Peyton?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. Just any of the times where, it was most of my friends or most of my class in a room, which thankfully I've had a lot of classes over the years with my good friends. And just the times where it was just a normal day, but something got us laughing. Or, there's countless memories of those, and just spending time with them.
Okay. Yeah. Zach, you got to cheat a little bit because I gave you a little bit of time while Peyton was talking.
Yeah. Oh, that is really hard. Because a lot of my favorite memories, obviously, baseball. And I think I got to say it's winning the regional championship in 2021, 2022, and then going in 2021 in baseball. Just because we've been playing together for so long, it was so close, and to finally actually accomplish something that's means something good, and you can see hung on the wall in the baseball field or in the baseball locker room. That's definitely a top one for me. Probably first. Yep.
Legacies you can leave behind to those that follow you. Yeah, that's good stuff. Okay, so finish this sentence. Zach, we'll start with you because that way Peyton can cheat a little bit. Finish this sentence. Guthrie High School is.
I did watch the last one, and I gotta agree with Lucas on this one. Just because home in a way that it's just just somewhere new to be, and something that. I mean, you're my friends are like brothers to me, and that's kind of what I think of as my brothers, and I'm at home with them, so I agree with Lucas on that definitely. So,
okay, Peyton?
Guthrie High School is what has molded me into the person that I am so far, but I definitely agree that it's also home.
That's good. That's good. When I listen to what you guys say about the school that's shaping you, there's obviously a lot of pride with what's gone on and the investment that everyone, the community's put into you guys, and I appreciate the fact that you guys recognize that. That's something that really will stay with you forever, and that's one of the things I enjoy about doing this. So that kind of transitions into my next question. What makes our community special, Peyton?
Well, I've got the chance to go to many different towns traveling with the football team or student council, and there's just nowhere else like Guthrie, and I don't mean to sound like cliche, but it's definitely a small town, but there's lots of small towns over in Oklahoma and over the country. But Guthrie is really special in how generous the members of the community are. With their kindness, but also they're always willing to help out the sports teams with their fundraiser or student council. When we have stuff like Pink Week, which is benefiting a member of the community, or Rock Week, which is similar. And we are just rarely told no, whether that's, monetary donations or to make a gift basket. Everyone's really generous, and we do this several times a year, and they never get tired of us. And so that's what makes Guthrie special, and the community is just, there's nothing like it.
Zach?
Yeah, I really agree with the community and about how everybody's, and I know I'm talking about sports a lot, but there's just that's like my field, so. Obviously, the field is we pride ourselves on football. We pride ourselves wrestling and football. Probably what we pride ourselves on, in the community is just extremely close. And like she said, there's a bunch of small towns, but I feel like what really makes us stand out is just our pride and what we really hang our hats on in Guthrie. So
and I've lived in multiple communities. Grew up in Stillwater. I've lived in Ponca City. I've lived in Blackwell and some. Couple of smaller towns even. But Peyton, what you touched on, and Zach, you alluded to it too, is I'm not sure I've ever been in a community that is as caring and taking care of their folks. When we have a tragedy, this is a large enough community that it's very uncommon to see people come together like we do, and unfortunately we've seen that with tragedy. We've seen that with challenges, but I've never seen a community this size that can come together like that and be as rock solid. You touched on Pink Week. We've had people in our community that have been afflicted with cancer, and the generosity that we show for them because we take care of our own. And as you guys leave here, hopefully you'll find a way to come back. But if you don't, I can assure you, you're not gonna see that wherever you go. And I think I really appreciate the fact that you guys recognize that, because sometimes you have to live somewhere else to realize what you've got in Guthrie. Mm-hmm. And you guys will figure that one out as you move on, and that may bring you back. Yeah. So that kind of takes care of our next question, because the next question is what sets us apart from other places. I mean, is there anything else that you guys can add on to that?
I think it's somewhere that people want to plant their roots. I mean, my roots are here. I'm a third-generation bluejay on both sides of my family. But I think Guthrie really draws people. I've heard countless stories over the years of people saying this is where they wanted to raise their family. They're from out of state, or they're from somewhere at least further away in the state. And so I think that sets us apart from other places.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, actually. That's right when she said that. Yeah, I mean, there's so many kids that, my friends' parents went to school with my mom. Mm-hmm. And then my mom's still living in Guthrie, and it's just kind of crazy to think maybe someday I'll probably still be in Guthrie with my kids coming to school with some of my friends' kids in Guthrie. It's kind of weird. I don't like thinking about it, but it's hard not to.
Well, I think you guys will figure it out. You're smart enough that you will figure it out, and you'll realize what you've got here. But again, sometimes you have to not have that in place in your life to realize how valuable it was, and you'll get it figured out.
Well, and another thing I was going to mention too along those lines, Dr. Simpson, is the fact that these kids represent our school and our community with such great pride. And that is probably the thing that I'm most proud about when I go to different places and we go to other schools and we go to other venues is our kids put their best foot forward, and a lot of that is because, and Zach alluded to it earlier, just the mentoring of our coaches and our teachers and our staff, and that makes me proud because a lot of people, they see what goes on Friday nights or during the activities or the contest, but they don't understand all that work that goes on behind the scenes, and our teachers and our staff are very committed to mentoring, building up, supporting, and producing a product that our entire school and community can be proud of, and these two are just a testament to that.
Be careful, you're going to ruin my next question.
You see, I hadn't even read them yet.
Okay, so who's made a difference in your life up to this point?
Guthrie High School specific or just in general?
In general.
Definitely my parents. I have to give a lot of credit to them. But my classmates, they have really, we've grown up together and grown together, and I feel like we've kind of raised each other. And also the teachers have had a big hand in making an impact and keeping us on the straight and narrow and inspiring us, because sometimes it's hard to keep going as a student, but just always encouraging us and reminding us, this stuff matters now that you're in high school. This stuff's going on your long-time transcript, so keep
your
it
permanent
together.
record.
Yes.
It's true.
I got a few people. Definitely my coaches, obviously, because they put so much work into making sure we are successful. And when you really sit down and think about that, really, it means a lot to me, because it just they go to Friday nights, they coach a whole game, they wake up the next morning, watch film on the next team every single week, and it's just like clockwork to them. So they're probably second on my list, but I have to go with my mom, just because my mom has always been there for me. She's really hard on me. She can be really hard on me, and that's and I know that now, just because she wants me to be perfect. And obviously I'm not going to be, but she really wants me to just be the best I possibly can. She harps on me about studying, going to class obviously and stuff like that. But it's definitely got to be my mom.
I'm really impressed with what you just said about your mom, because usually you got to be about 25 to figure that out. So that's really good. Well, one of the things, Mr. LeGrande and I both, before we were administrators, back when everything was in black and white, we coached, and it is when you've given, I understand what you guys are talking about, because you see it on the front lines with coaches, but also this extends, and this is why I'm such a big proponent of extracurricular activities, whether it be vocal, ag, sports, drama, because when you extend the school day, that gives you guys an opportunity to develop relationships with staff and with other students that are a lot deeper and a lot stronger than you're just going to get going to class. And that's why I'm such a big advocate for that, because I think that makes a difference in everyone's life. And you guys just confirm that right here. And that's why we've been so active in trying to increase those opportunities for the students, because I know that makes a difference. I mean, even this year, we've added, we're in the process of trying to add volleyball throughout the district. We've added esports, and those things make a difference. And you guys know that, and you're confirming it to me. All right, let's rewind a little bit here. Let's go back to March of 2020, and let's talk about what it was like for the spring break that never ended.
The COVID year?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. When school ended due to COVID and we didn't return. And you guys were freshmen at that time.
Yeah, that feels so long ago. I barely remember it. I want to say it was like awesome, because you don't have to go to school or anything, but I don't know, it just, because I don't think I don't even think we had sports, did we? Did we go to any
No.
sports? So
Everything
yeah,
shut
I
down.
didn't. I mean, I was just at home, probably playing video games, just doing nothing. I didn't really get to see any of my friends. Yeah, it was. Oh, it really wasn't that fun, was it? Yeah, it was.
Well, I'm weird. I've always loved school, so it was really sad to not be at school, and obviously missing your friends. It was really tragic that it cut off baseball season. Barely got into it. Yeah.
It's coming back to you now, isn't it, Zach?
Yeah, it was not fun. So it was really sad and very depressing, and I don't say that lightly, missing my classmates and school and just normal life. But I also understood, it was necessary for things to shut down. So
it's another great example of you don't appreciate some things until they're not there.
Yeah.
Zach, I can tell you had wiped that from your memory that you lost a baseball season.
But yeah.
One of the toughest things for me when we had to do all that was I knew that we were probably going to win it all in boys golf again. I mean, our boys golf team was they were going to be a three-peat, and they were going to and that had to go away. The idea that people we didn't go to school. We didn't. The thing for me, I'm a huge college basketball fan, and the idea that March Madness could go away. We didn't have an NCAA basketball tournament. I mean, those kinds of things were just, it's so hard to comprehend, and looking back on it doesn't make it any easier. And, I know that you guys missed a lot of things, and, then we went into the next year, and Guthrie was in school, in-person instruction, but not everybody was as far as other school districts. Some of them were on an A-B schedule. Some of them they were just virtual. But what about that next year? We had the year of masks and quarantines. And did you guys ever get quarantined?
Ooh. I think I did once. I think I did one time, yeah.
You were one of the lucky ones because we actually had people that were quarantined 4, 5, and 6 times.
Yeah.
I mean, we're out of school for months at a time, believe it or not.
Didn't they have to be out for 14 days, or was it just 7?
Yeah,
it was 14 at the start, and it was everything was a moving target.
Yeah.
So talk about any memories that you have of that year.
Well, I was quarantined just once, but it was during football season, so I had to miss. I think it was the first or second round of the playoffs, and that was it would have been second round sophomore year, and we lost then, so that was the last game of the season. So watching that from home and not being with my football family was really hard.
Yeah, that was obviously our sophomore year. I remember, so I didn't start my sophomore year in football. So it was the Piedmont week. We were going to play Piedmont.
Go ahead, you tell your story, then I'll tell mine.
You guys laugh, but I was going to play that game. And that game was canceled. So I was going to play, it's our 44 defense or whatever. And I was supposed to play in that defense. And we're about to get ready. We're getting all of our stuff. Actually, no, we didn't get our stuff. Right before we got our stuff, coaches came in. Hey, everybody sit down. And he told us the game was canceled. I was like, oh my goodness. But it's no big deal now. But I finally got my first start in the first playoff game. And I remember it was Jackson and Carson didn't play in that second round because they were quarantined. And it's just, it was a mess.
So you guys both know the football coaches well. So let me share with you let me paint the scene before the Piedmont game.
I don't know.
We're in the high school library. It's me, Mr. LeGrande, our assistant superintendent, Mr. Ogle. I believe the rest of the high school assistant principals were in there, Mr. Stone and Mr. Throckmorton. Coach Beebe, our school nurse. Because we had gotten the word of what all was going on. And that's when we're on the phone with the State Department of Health. and I have to tell Coach Beebe we're not going to play football that night.
Oh, especially against Piedmont, too.
Yeah, and then I had to go call the superintendent in Enid and tell him that they couldn't play football against Jinx, and Jinx is already in Enid warming up.
Wow.
Yeah. So they pulled them off the field. Yeah.
So there were, there were a lot of moving parts to that night that on the games that didn't happen, and it was as you can imagine, it was not well received by Coach Beebe, but he's a pro and he took it, and we found a way to make it happen. But that was not a fun. That was not a fun day.
And I was going to say, I'll never forget, because you guys know Coach Beebe well enough. He's pretty stubborn, and he's set in his ways, and that's probably putting it very mildly. And he, Dr. Simpson had to just say, "Hey, Kelly, this is bigger than you are," and so you got to understand this is the health and safety of everybody involved, and so we have to. And then, of course, Coach Beebe, like he said, is professional enough to realize at that point, well, you know what, I can't fight no more. I mean, we got to put it aside and move forward. But preparing for a big rival like that, and you're all ready to go, and then you have to put that off, of course, is real disappointing for so many people.
Well, and I think I was a basketball coach. Football coaches, they don't really ever have to deal with a sudden cancellation of a game. In basketball, you occasionally have to because of weather. And so I had been through that, but I also knew that Coach Beebe had not. And it was that was an interesting conversation. I'll just put it like that. But in the end, we got through all that. I don't ever want to do that again. I know you guys don't either. It was no fun. The thing about the quarantines, both of you we sent a lot of healthy kids home that weren't sick but
they're around them.
Yeah, close contact.
And so I'm glad that we've worked through a lot of that. It'll be one that some people will try and wipe it from their memory, and then it'll be one that some people will never forget, without a doubt. So if you could change one thing at Guthrie High School, what would it be?
Oh,
I have my answer prepared. Don't you can think on it. It's no secret that football is heavily supported by both the student body and the community, and I would never change that. Trust me, I love our football program, having been a part of it. But I wish that the student body supported each sport to the same caliber, and even our other programs like the fine arts, like drama and band and choir and all that. I wish everything could be at that level, because I know the support means a lot to the football players, and that has a big effect on, I wouldn't say their success, but also, knowing the community and their fellow classmates are behind them. So I wish every sport was celebrated the same way.
Well, and I think that's a great point. But I will tell you that I feel like I was at the basketball game Tuesday night. We had a good showing of students there. It's a little harder in some of the other sports because of the fact that they may be on a weeknight, and there are so many things going on. But that's a great point, and everybody's working hard, and they need support. Mm-hmm. Zach?
Yeah, I agree with the support as well. I think I don't really think I would change much about the school. I think the faculty does a good job. I mean, I think they do put an effort. I think our football coaches put an effort. I think baseball does, basketball, all of them. Do wish baseball had a little bit more, support. Mm-hmm. Baseball, I feel like doesn't get it. And I feel like the same about softball, too. I think softball and baseball, and I know people have their preferences. Baseball is a slow sport. Softball is a slow sport. Mm-hmm. I understand. Plus the weather. It's usually cold sometimes around that, especially now. I just kind of wish baseball was a little bit more supported. And I think people support it. People just don't really. Like, we had the World Series. We had this new World Series thing for baseball. And There's actually quite a bit of people show up. There's about 20 people maybe total. And I know it was freezing. It was really cold. But yeah, I just kind of wish baseball was a little bit more supportive. But.
Well, and I think the thing that when you watch those sports, take softball for example. You know, when we get to the regional or to state, there's a lot of support there. And with baseball, it's when you start high school baseball, everybody needs a parka on to watch it.
Yeah.
And you know the difference in that and football is if you're at a football game and need a parka, it's probably an important ball game because you're deep in the playoffs. And so, but when we've gotten to the state tournament in baseball, we've had really good support. Yeah. And I think there's something to be that's just kind of how things work sometimes. If Peyton, I hate to bring this up, but if OU or OSU has a bad year in football, there's probably not going to be as
right now.
yeah, there's probably not going to be. Sorry, that was kind of me. There's probably not going to be as many people in the stands. Mm-hmm. But when you're having success, they do, and then if the weather's good, then they will as well. And so I think the support is there. Sometimes they have to fight the weather, and then other things going on. Spring is such a busy time because you think about who's in the stands supporting them. Well, it's the students, but it's also, in many cases, they're the athletes from other sports. But in the spring, how many sports are going on? You've got soccer, you've got track, you've got tennis, you've got golf, and baseball. And so they may be out there somewhere else competing or practicing. So I agree with you, and I think we do a good job of that, and maybe we can work on that a little bit. All right, what is something about Guthrie, whether it's Guthrie High School, Guthrie Public Schools, Guthrie the community, that should never change?
The atmosphere. That's yeah. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna talk about football again. Oh man, there is nothing like being even in the stands. And I remember when I was a kid being in the stands during a football game, even if we're 6-4 one year. Because when I was little, we weren't as great, but we're always a tough team. So we're always rack up like 6 wins at least. But even when I was a kid, the atmosphere is I don't even know how to explain it. It's just amazing and it really opened my eyes when I went to SNU it was like an unofficial visit, and I went to SNU football game, and I feel like our atmosphere was even better, and that's what really stood out to me is our atmosphere. That's it right there.
Yeah, I have to agree. Also, just like we touched on, the community support and the student body support for what we do at DHS, but specifically not to be cheesy, I have to shout out our North Office staff. Miss Janetta, Miss Blakemore, Miss Chad, and Miss Rebecca are just wonderful. They go above and beyond for all the students, and they really make sure that their office aides are appreciated, and I can attest to that because I'm a North Office aide, and so I hope that never changes.
Zach, you talked a little bit about the atmosphere of football. I've been again in multiple school districts, and you guys have both been involved in football and been at the Rock. You were kind of raised at the Rock, I think. There's not a better place for high school football. I'm just going to tell you, there's not. I've been to a lot of special places that think they're really special with high school football, and there's not a better place. And when you get out and you go around, you guys have traveled. We've gone to some really, really special places for football, but they're not the Rock. It's,
and I was going to add too, when we were hiring teachers, when we have openings or vacancies at Guthrie High School, and we're interviewing potential teachers, and it's typically Mr. Stone, Mr. Throckmorton, and I, that is one thing that we really pitch and sell to potential candidates, is the fact that it is and these are Mr. Stone's words, it's a carnival atmosphere on Friday night. I mean, we've got the band out there playing, we've got tailgates going, we got the hamburgers being and on the grill, and so you just don't get that at every little school or town that you visit in Oklahoma, and that's what makes Guthrie unique. And that's one thing. I graduated from GHS in '86, and that is something that I felt was very special for my own children to experience that. And it's something that you don't really appreciate, and you've talked about it a little bit, but until you actually get older and you're removed and you're away from that environment, you're like, you know what? That is something that just really was impactful and had a big influence on my life. And so I think that's why, to kind of answer your question, that's why people come back, because it was such a pleasant experience for them, and they want their children and their grandchildren to experience the same.
Yeah, I guarantee you Carl Torp at Channel 9 would say it's the best atmosphere. I mean, he told me that after when we did a live interview before, I can't remember which game it was. I think it was McGinnis. And
McGinnis last year was that was awesome. Oh my god, I'm gonna miss it so much. I remember even after the Grove game, and it wasn't that night. I think it was 2 days later. It really hit me. It's like, man, like I won't ever play at the Rock again. It's so sad, but it's like, man, like just because I loved it so much, it was so fun. Man.
All right, so you've got Mr. LeGrande and myself right here.
I heard this is coming.
Do you have any questions you want to ask us?
You guys are really brave for opening yourselves up to that. Well, I've kind of thought about the question. I mentioned I'm a trainer, and that was a big part of my identity. So I guess, I don't know if it's a question, but I would like to see a program put in place, whether that's through, Mercy or something, to give the trainers that want to some basic first aid and taping knowledge and things like that. To sort of set them up for those that aspire, like I don't, but to do that, in college and later in life, so we can see Blue Jays on the sidelines.
Okay. I appreciate you saying that. I think there's probably something we can do to try and make that happen, and I think there are. You may or may not be aware of it. There are camps for their athletic training camps.
Yes, I've been to one.
And okay. I was only aware of the ones in Stillwater, but anyway.
Okay.
Okay. Well, we'll work on that. And Zach.
I'm just gonna, I guess, keep it simple. Did you guys play any sports in high school? Because I know you went to Guthrie and you went to Stillwater, right? Did you guys play any sports?
I played a little basketball. Then I became a trainer, and I was a golfer.
Oh, I golf on the side too a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
My girlfriend golfs, so ever since I started dating her, I've been, I gotta be better.
That'll get you out on the golf course. Yeah. And little bit of information also. I was a student manager for Oklahoma State basketball for 5 years with Coach Leonard Hamilton, who's now at Florida State, and then with Coach Sutton.
Oh.
And then I coached a little college basketball.
Really? For what college?
Sam Houston State University, the ones that just beat the Sooners earlier this year. Sorry. God, I keep doing it.
It's okay.
Well, now, and I actually, as I mentioned, I was at Guthrie High School in the mid-'80s, and I played football, basketball, and baseball. I played basketball my freshman year, and then after my freshman year, I just strictly played football, and then I had a little break there in between, and then played baseball as well. And so I really enjoyed my experience, and like you've alluded to, too, just those memories that I made with teammates, that band of brothers and those guys, we still talk and have a great time. And, another you may not know too, but Dr. Simpson and I we attended Oklahoma State at the same time. We actually had a class or two together as well. And so never forget when he was applying for the job as superintendent, he walks in the office and I look at him and he looks at me, and we're like, we've seen each other somewhere before. And I realized at that time, it took me a few moments to gather my thoughts, but I thought, that's right. I remember seeing him at OSU football games, because at that time they allowed coaches to have complimentary tickets to the football games. And so we basically sat in the same section. Remember that?
Yeah, I do. And we kind of put our heads together after I got hired and figured out some of the classes that we had together. He's a class of 86 in Guthrie, and I'm class of 86 in Stillwater. And so we're, it's a small world.
I got to say, I do love basketball. I don't watch it a lot, but when I was younger in junior high, I played it. And I want to say I wish I played it in high school, but I feel like I'd be so busy. I'd be so stressed, but I love basketball. I love playing it.
Well, I'll confess, when March Madness comes, the first and second round, if we're in school, I take the days off, and I sit at home, and I have 4 screens up, and I'll have all 4 games going at the same time, and I'll be watching all 4 of them.
Wow.
There was when I was younger, before I had a family and a wife and kids, I would go to one of the sites. I would travel to it, because that's just how much I enjoy that. But I also enjoy the football and the bowl games and stuff like that. So, all right. So, what else do you guys? Any other questions you guys have of us? Anything? Here's your chance.
No, I think I'm set.
Okay.
Have you guys ever been to a NFL game? NFL football game? I love NFL games.
I went. It was about 15 degrees in Atlanta, and I watched Barry Sanders play the Atlanta Falcons,
really?
The Detroit Lions, and Atlanta was terrible, Detroit was terrible, and there were maybe 15,000 people in the stands in a 60,000 seat stadium. But I've watched a little NFL football.
I've been to one NFL game. We went to a preseason Dallas Cowboy football game, and that's back when they played in Irving, that had the open dome, so to speak. It had the hole in the roof, as they called it, before they built the new AT&T Stadium. Preseason game, but I know that's one thing that my middle daughter and I kind of aspire to do, is to actually go to Jerry World, as they call it now, and watch a live game there at AT&T Stadium.
Better start saving money now.
Yes, I better, for parking.
You're a Dallas fan, right?
Yes.
That's what I thought. You just kind of look like a Dallas fan. I feel like, I don't know, 'cause my brother's a Dallas fan, my dad is a Dallas fan, stepmom, my girlfriend's dad, and then I'm a Giants fan.
Oh, okay.
So it's like,
Got a lot of issues to work through there.
It's been painful, for years, but yeah.
Well, guys, I really appreciate you joining us today. It was a lot of fun. I truly spending time with you guys makes me feel better about the work that we're doing, and the fact that we're getting ready to send you guys off with your diploma, which I call your license to go learn, and that's really what it is. And congratulations on how far you've gotten so far, and I got nothing but best wishes for you for the remainder of your senior year. Enjoy it, because you're going to snap your fingers and it's going to be over with, and you guys already have recognized that. So make the most of it, and wish you nothing but the best, and look forward to I'll see you around, but I also look forward to shaking your hand on that night when we give you that license to learn. Okay, thanks for joining us. This has been a lot of fun today, and having 2 great seniors from Guthrie High School in with us today, and of course joined by our good friend Mr. LeGrande, the high school principal. And so, thanks again for listening and watching Chalk Talk. And for Peyton Hayes, Zach Henry, and Chris LeGrande, I'm Mike Simpson. Thanks for joining us on Chalk Talk.